Introducing the world's first electric dot pen. The Cuttlelola Dotspen will revolutionise your drawings from the moment you switch it on. Fun and easy from the start. 10 times faster than traditional stippling, this innovative pen allows you to breeze through fine details and create a variety of marks. You can explore a full range of pen and ink effects, as the waterproof ink lets you add watercolours, ink or other mediums to your work. And with 2 speed settings available, there is a world of creativity waiting for you. Choose from 4 different coloured inks, which can be layered one over the other to create a whole new spectrum of colours. The pen is fully rechargeable via USB, and changing the inks is simple. So go on, start mastering your drawing skills today with the Cuttlelola Dotspen. Available now at www.saa.co.uk or call 0800 980 1123.
And we're live!
Hello and welcome to another live demonstration. Today I want to do a demonstration on using one of my favourite tools at the moment, which is the Cuttlelola Dotspen. So this is an electric dots pen that creates all those little dots in pointillism, but much easier, much quicker. Plus it creates slightly different effects as well, which is really fun. So what I've done is I've copied down this dancer loaned to me by the great artist Alison Board, and what I'm going to do is show you how the pen works as we're doing it. So button on the side, I fully charged it using a USB cable, it either plugged into your computer or into a plug, and there's a little button on the side. You press once and it goes into slow mode. So you can see there it's creating little dots. I prefer to work in the faster mode, and to go into the faster mode you need to have it working already and then double click, and you can see that will create a much quicker speed. I will go into the slow mode sometimes for a little bit more detail, but for this I like the fast mode. I like to be able to skip with it as well. You'll see what I mean when I say skip. So all I'm doing is I'm just going around the outline of the dancer, and in some areas I'll go darker and other areas I'll go lighter, but I'll talk about those when I get to them. So just do the hair here, and I'm using it sometimes a little bit sketchy, so I'm not just doing a continuous line, I'm dotting it around, skipping it is much more accurate term. So a lot of this work will be skipping around the page as I look and review and reevaluate the darker and lighter tones. So across the back here, she's got, the body's going to be dark, but I want to use a kind of gentler, softer touch on the arms. So to change your touch is you hold the pen until you feel resistance against the board, and then you just move it. And the more resistance you feel, obviously the stronger the line and the slower you move. Or if you move quite quickly, you get your dots a little bit further apart and you get a much gentler line. It's all practice. A lot of it is practice, learning how to hold it. I find that I hold it very close to the nib, because it gives me a lot more stability. It means I can draw straight lines quite easily. It's just the way I naturally hold a pen. So here, and the paper's loose because I need to twist it round, which I'm going to do now. So you can see there, it just makes it easier than me having to move my arm around. I've moved the paper. And the same with painting with an acrylic, with a watercolour. Move the paper. Don't struggle to try and get a mark and try and achieve a mark by having to go into awkward angles. Move the paper. So there you go. Just bring up some of these lines. Now these lines I know I want to be darker, so I'm not so worried about a gentler touch. So into the tutu, which is lacy. So I'm not overly worried about the structure because I want it to be a little bit more, well, to give it a feeling of that lace and that texture of the fabric. Okay, so at the moment I've just about finished going round. Now you don't have to go round the whole of your work. I've often found with a lot of work I'm doing is it's the areas you leave out are just as effective as the areas you put in. So I'm going to start to work on the lace here. So as her body comes around here, this is going to be a bit darker. So I can add a few more dots, but I want to, the tutu kind of, the lines come into her body and I want to make sure that I'm representing that. And you'll see how I'm often changing the angle of my arm just to create the direction. So I find, for me, this is not normal speed I'd work in. I usually work quite quickly, get colour down, splash it, you know, get the image down as quickly as possible. But with this, it is a little bit addictive and it's a lot slower pace than I normally work at. But I find I can work with a quick action to create different techniques and tones. So here, if I just create a single line, you can see how that creates a nice dot, but I tend to skip around to create the tones a little bit more. And there, I've done a classic 4 lines in a row, all very evenly spread, which I need to break up a little bit. And that can be as simple as just changing the direction of that line. As artists, we need a little bit more, a few more random marks, but it's really hard. Most people will see things very evenly spread, and you do it, and that's when you review work and think, I need a little bit more work on there. So I don't want to overwork the tutu. I'm just thinking of where I can put some folds in the fabric and how they can look like they're moving up into the body. So, some more lines, and then I'll skip around and just add a bit of texture. I think I might put another layer underneath here just to give you different, so it shows that the fabric's layered. This may not be on the original picture, but no one's actually seeing the picture you're working from. As long as it looks like a tutu, it doesn't matter really what shape it is, as long as it's fitting the body and it has that texture and feel to it, then that's all you need to do. I know a lot of people really worry about everything looking exactly as it should on the photograph. That's what photographs are for. As artists, we can add our own embellishments. Portraits obviously do need to have a good resemblance, but with this kind of work, I like this because it's hidden the face, so I don't have to worry about that. All I need to concentrate on is the shape of the body. So I'm going to move on from that because I will overwork, and it is quite a slow process. I'm going to work on some of the darker areas because once you've found the darker areas, you can see where your lighter areas are and what you need to leave out. So under the legs here are going to be dark, and I do know she's wearing black leggings. And you can see here by just moving the pen around in the same area how you can build up your layers. What happened there was I'm beginning to hold the pen like this and it started to feel a little less resistant. That's because I'm holding it at an angle. You do need to hold it upright in order for the magnet to hit the battery. So I tipped the pen and it started to struggle. So just make sure you put your hand back up again straight. So this should have about a 30-minute life on a charge, which I think is very useful, because what it means is you walk away from your work, you have to charge your pen, and then you come back and you review. And that's something that as artists you need to learn to do, is review your work, because it helps you stop overworking. What you do is you look at it and go, oh, actually, there's not a huge amount I need to do. I think that area just needs a little work, but that area doesn't. So walking away from your work is a useful tool, and this makes you. You can have it plugged in, which I might do when this runs out. You can have it plugged into a USB cable, into a plug socket, and work a little bit more continuously. If you're confident with your work, but like I've said, it is actually a useful tool to be able to walk away and come back to your work. Now I'm skipping around just because I'm trying to think about where I can build up lights and darks, because in this picture there are some lights and darks, but I may want to move them slightly just to give a little bit more drama, or to make it work as a composition. The body on the photograph is all one tone, it's quite dark. So I actually want to, I'm just putting a line down there because I want to know where her backbone has gone, because I want to use the shape of the body and just kind of highlight it a little bit under the leotard. So you can see how you can build up. Again, I'm tipping my pen, I felt it lose a little bit of power. So if I want to cover one area, what I will often do is just create the lines quickly that way and then go back at a different angle. And what that does is it fills the area up quickly for me. Then I can now start to darken and tone a little bit more. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's really starting to darken. So you can get some really subtle shades right up to leaving the paper bare, right up to an almost black tone, to really nice subtle lines. So on the hand, I'm going to start to, oops, made a mistake there. So I'd lost that line there, and I've put some dots under the hand. To be honest, that will work because I can use that. But what I have found is, if you use a white gel pen or Tipp-Ex or anything, just to dot out that area, it disappears. You can go back in again with the pen if you want to alter, but you know, you can correct. If you've gone over an area that you've gone, oops, which I just did, it's actually pretty easy to correct. So a little white gel pen will correct this. So the ink is waterproof once dry. I'm trying to work this way because I know if it's not dry I will smudge it, but once dry it's waterproof, so perfectly suitable for pen and wash. But I think the black and white tonal work is very effective. What it's also doing is it's teaching you where your darkest tones are and your lightest tones are, and to look for them, because on a lot of photographs or working from life, most light is very flat, so you can't always see it. But as an artist and representing it in a painting, you do need to exaggerate or add them in a little bit stronger than you see in life, and that's how you can take a painting from this level up to another level by just looking at the lights and darks. So you can see here, I have built up that leg. Again, I know I need to add some darker areas where she's sitting under here, but it's going to take a little bit more time than I have to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just skip over some of the darker tones and maybe add them in a little later when I know what we're doing for time. So on the tip of the boot, on her shoes, sorry, see there. So I want to just shade under her arm, and you can see I'm working very quickly, just adding a touch of tone, because obviously under her arm will be shaded from the light. I don't want to overdo it. Let's work into her top. And again, it's good to learn what you can put in and what you don't need to put in, what you can leave out. So I'm guessing the light is going to be hitting her from the top, or I'm making the light hit her from the top. Sorry, that's bothering me. Doesn't feel balanced. So you can see there how just reviewing areas and skipping around a little bit, you can see how you can change and work on areas. So I'm going to have the light hitting her, maybe from there actually, I might change it, hitting her from there. So this area, I don't need to work on so much. Even though she's got a dark costume, I'm doing it black and white. The colour really doesn't matter at the moment. Plus nobody else knows what colour costume she's working in. You can see here, under the arm here is going to be the darker, but I want to create shape here, just to give her a little bit more structure. And I'll often work in the direction, like here on the hair. Same with fur, same with feathers. Work in the direction of the line, like the direction of the fur. It'll give you a much more realistic representation. So because the light's hitting from the top, she's going to be dark under here and under her bun. I don't overly have to worry about the top. It's a strong light. She's a dancer, and they often have some nice strong light to dance in. So just think about, again, her face here will have hit in shadow. But what I'm also concentrating on is areas I'm leaving out. What do I need to do, or what don't I need to do? Which is why I tend to skip around a little bit more than I should do. Okay, so I think that's a good time for a break, and we'll come back and I'll continue to work on building up some tones. So if you join me in a minute for the continuation of this demonstration.
Let us bring out the artist in you. If you'd like to learn how to paint or improve your painting, the SAA, Society for All Artists, is here to inform, encourage and inspire you every step of the way. When you become an SAA member, you get so many benefits, including the free bi-monthly newsletter Paint, packed with inspiring step-by-step projects, fascinating articles and detailed information to get your creative juices flowing. Discounts on over 13,000 art products featured on the SAA website and in the Home Shop catalogue, with free order line and free delivery in the UK mainland. A devoted SAA team on hand to answer your questions and give you the confidence and motivation you need to start painting and develop at a pace that suits you. Plus, a free welcome pack filled with gifts and practical help to get you started, as well as the opportunity to make friends with like-minded people.
Best thing about being a member is the inspiration from the magazines, to be able to purchase things at a very reasonable price.
Yeah, you get the reduction on all the materials, the advice you get.
I can shop from home.
It's a community.
It seemed like a very friendly sort of organisation.
If somebody's thinking of joining, don't spend too long thinking. Just join. They'll love it.
And we're back.
Hello and welcome back. So for this last part of this demonstration, I've plugged in the cable into a USB plug because I've done 20 minutes already. The chances are it's going to start to run down. So just to give me a little bit more time, I've plugged it in and I'm going to use it straight from the plug. Again, this is useful to do, but I wouldn't recommend it for long because it doesn't give you that chance to walk away. Plus it's vibrating slightly, and if anyone is sensitive to vibration, your hand will feel it. I've used this for days and not felt it, so it's not a problem. There you go, so put it into slow mode, and like I say, I actually prefer the fast mode to be able to work quicker. So just building up some more tones here. So now I've decided where my light is coming from. I just want to make sure that you can see that the body is darker here. And it's darker where the tutu is hitting the body here. So all the time I'm thinking about, you know, does that need a little bit lighter, a little bit darker? And I do find that you don't overwork too much because it's such a slow process. You do find that you haven't really overworked an area too much. So you can see here, and again, I'm actually going to leave, what you leave out can be just as effective as what you put in. So I'm going to shade it a little bit, but not too much. I want to define the difference between what she's wearing and her skin. So for me, that's working quite well. Under here, if I had more time, I would work obviously on the much darker areas because this would be much darker as it's not hitting the light. But for this, I don't need to. And sometimes by having to work quickly, you do find you do leave areas out which you normally would work into. So the shading will be under the hand here. And I'm trying to not do too much. Just want to give a hint because that finger will be in shading. And here, this hand is going to be in shadow because I want to show you other parts as well, which I won't get time to do if I don't do this a little bit quicker. So the hands will be so you can see there's a hand there. Actually I know it's going to be darker here, so it's just going to bother me if I don't do it. There we go. Under here will be darker. So all the time I'm just thinking, where structurally do I need to add a little bit more tone? So if I had more time, I would obviously work a little bit more into some of the darker tones, but I haven't, and you don't want to watch me do that all the time. So I've done this. So now I'm going to add a floor for her to sit on. So again, I tipped my pen, so I felt it resist a little bit. I'm going to have to move my paper around because I want to draw some lines. And now you can see how you can use the dot pen really effectively with the dots. So giving her something to sit on. So you create those lovely lines of dots, so it's great for an outline. What I do as well is you can skip, see I'm skipping here. I need to just build up. So what I'll do is I move my hand slower and over the same area. So this is going to be dark where she's sitting, but I don't want to lose the shape of the body to where she's sitting on. So that's given her a bit of grounding now. She's actually sitting on something, but I haven't needed to do the whole of the area. Okay, so another thing I will do is like here where I said I'd made a mistake and there was some dots that had escaped, what I do is sometimes I will create a background, and for this I will just kind of very gently, I'm holding very lightly, skip around the body and just give her a little bit more of a background. Again, I will normally think about the light and the dark. It's obviously going to be a little bit darker over this side, but you can see here how it's framing the body. What I like to do is just do it a little bit like a cloud. So I'm doing a circular motion, and I know Gary doesn't like this, but I have to move my paper because I can't stretch over to get the effects I like, but as long as I keep it in the square, I'm fine. Sometimes editors are a bit picky about what you can and can't do. But like I've said before, actually being able to move your paper is useful for any medium, rather than I've seen people struggle to make a mark because they've got the paper in one set area. Move it. It's simply just move it. I've moved it upside down because I want to work on this bit. It means that my hand isn't over the paper and I've got less risk of smudging. You can see how that just builds out a little bit more structure. So not long to go now, because I'm not going to put the normal amount of work I would put into this. But I hope you can see, how achievable things are with the Dotspen and how much fun you can have. Like I say, all those who have got Christmas presents this year have seen what you can do with the dot pen. Okay, so for me, yes, I would like to work on it and create more tones, but I think that works very well on itself. So when it's in fast mode, double click to put it into slow mode, and then one click to switch off. What I do is I feel the barrel to check it's gone off completely. And it's just like any normal pen. If I need to refill, I just unlock the barrel and simply change the refill, which this is actually getting a bit low now. So it's as simple as that. So a really fun tool, I switched it on again, a really fun tool to use. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have learnt some tips in using the pen. Have fun, work on your own way of using it. So that's all for me now. Join me later in the week for another live demonstration.
Next week.
Oh, next week, sorry, not later in the week. I forgot it was later in the week now. So there we go. A nice little ballerina for you. Thank you.
Introducing the world's first electric dot pen. The Cuttlelola Dotspen will revolutionise your drawings from the moment you switch it on. Fun and easy from the start. 10 times faster than traditional stippling, this innovative pen allows you to breeze through fine details and create a variety of marks. You can explore a full range of pen and ink effects, as the waterproof ink lets you add watercolours, ink or other mediums to your work. And with 2 speed settings available, there is a world of creativity waiting for you. Choose from 4 different coloured inks, which can be layered one over the other to create a whole new spectrum of colours. The pen is fully rechargeable via USB, and changing the inks is simple. So go on, start mastering your drawing skills today with the Cuttlelola Dotspen. Available now at www.saa.co.uk or call 0800 980 1123.